ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, and we were studying the 4th chapter, and we had just touched the 20th shloka, 20. Now, this area of study is very, very, very important for persons who really would like to follow a devoted, determined, disciplined life to reach the goal of life. What is the goal of life? To know my true original nature. Answer to this perennial pertinent question: who am I? What am I? And how it could be achieved. As of now, it is beyond my imagination that I am Nitya, Suddha, Buddha, Mukta, Swabhavavan Atma, Sridharananda Swarup. This has been defined as our true, real nature. We hear these words, and with the farthest stretch of our imagination, it doesn't ring a bell. We are totally embellished entrenched in awareness that I am the body-mind complex. This is my name. This is how I appear, my looks, my form. These are my qualities, and these are my utilitarian value in this world. I can't somehow or other, with the farthest stretch of imagination, go beyond this. This is where I am. And the scriptures and the teachers, saints and seers and incarnations, keep on hammering away. You are not so. You are the soul, the spirit, the Holy Ghost, Atman, the Brahman. How do I reach this, which is beyond my imagination even? This is the biggest problem of a sincere, devoted sadhaka or a sadhika. Sadhaka means one who is putting a back-breaking effort to reach that goal of identifying myself with my true nature. Whether it's a lady or it's a gentleman, is immaterial. It is available to both. Now, for millenniums together, thousands of years together, this problem has been uppermost in the minds of a novice. A man who wants or a lady who wants to start this spiritual journey. So how do we reconcile our existing state of awareness or our level of awareness and our awareness with our true original nature? How do we go about it? That has been perennial question of a starter of spiritual life till he reaches that goal. From A to Z, the whole gamut of his spiritual disciplined life rotates around this problem: how do I manage myself, educate myself, discipline myself so that I move out of this orbit of body-mind consciousness to my true original nature, the Satchidananda Swarupa Atma. How? So, let me reinforce myself, protect myself from a very famous quote of Acharya Shankara, who was born about 18th century, and the whole Hindu society and the world admits he is an incarnation of the divine. In the introduction of the Gita, he says a small little sentence, and it is a pearl of wisdom. Why? An incarnation of the divine in a human form for the betterment of the aspirants who want to reach that goal. It is a guideline for them. And that has been taken as an axiomatic truth, and many ideas have developed rotating around this statement of Acharya Shankara. Let me quote that. Sarvatra eva hi adhyatma shastre kritartha lakshanani yani sadhanani bhavanti tani jatna sadhatva. Full stop. Let us try to understand this literally, grammatically, and essentially. Sarvatra eva I adhyatma shastre. Let us stop here. Sarvatra. Everywhere. Where? Adhyatma shastre. Those scriptures which deals with Adhyatma, Adhyatma Vidya. Adhyatma means I know I am, but I do not know who am I. What I know myself to be as of now is a mistaken identity, is a misconception, is a misnomer. He says, all over the scriptures of the world, Adhyatma Shastre, in the scriptures all over the world which deals with this particular subject, manifestation of divinity already in us. What do we find? Kritartha lakshanani yani. That those what are, or that what is, Kritartha lakshana, signs and symptoms of a realized soul, which is expressed in his behavior pattern. Kritartha means a man who has achieved his goal, a realized soul. The behavior pattern, the signs and symptoms of that realized soul, Kritartha lakshanani yani, those which are the signs and symptoms and the behavior pattern of a realized soul, they are to be made sadhanani bhavanti tani. You have to inculcate, assimilate, absorb, and transform your personality so that you spontaneously behave like that. But it is not easy, jatna sadhatva, because it calls for a back-breaking effort. By way of an example, you will hardly find a realized soul losing his cool. You will hardly find. If he does it for a purpose. Purpose is betterment of the person who is keenly observing. Now, how is it that he does not lose his cool? Whereas I, as of now, any little thing takes me into a rage. That is the difference between his behavior pattern and my behavior pattern. Whatever the surroundings may be, he is full of affectionate love and compassion, fellow feeling, sympathy. He always extends a hand of helpfulness. He never turns his face around. Can I do so? It is not possible. Sri Krishna says here, these are the signs and symptoms of a realized soul. And in the Gita, he will describe endlessly the signs and symptoms of a realized soul from different points of view, not knowing which will click with you, not knowing which idea you will get hold of. So he doesn't spare himself. All through 360 degrees, he keeps on telling you the signs and symptoms of a realized soul. Why? Because the signs and symptoms of a realized soul is the subject matter of your sadhana. That is, he does not lose his cool. Why? Because he has identified himself with his true original nature. He is everywhere. What he sees in this body, in his body, he sees the same everywhere. So as because there is no duality, there is no tension. And wherever there is duality, there is tension, there is fear. Dvaitadvai bhayam bhavati. Wherever there is separateness, there is tension and fear. So in our day-to-day life, we move from one to the other. Whereas he is poised in the excellence, majesty, magnificence, glory of his own self. He sees himself everywhere. Therefore, he has no possibility of losing his cool. So, you start from the outer edge. I am not going to lose my cool. Is it a discipline? and that discipline is based on this attitude, I am everywhere. I can't get angry. I can't get angry. I can't get annoyed. I can't afford to lose my cool. I do not have the luxury to blow my top off in anger. I can't. Why? I am that. What are the signs and symptoms of a realized soul? Is your own sadhana. Sadhana means effortfulness. I am making an effort to change my personality. How do I change? It's a two-pronged attack. Double-barrel gun. One barrel is Jnanagni Dagda Karmanam. I am always trying to remind myself, who am I? What am I in reality? And on the other hand, because of that, I cannot misbehave. I have to. That is sadhana for you. Jana sadhana, tana siddhi. The abstract of this statement of Acharya Shankara, sarvatra evahi adhyatma shastre kritartha lakshanani yani sadhanani cha bhavanti tani. Why? Jatna sadhatva. It does not happen without a back-breaking effort to manage your attitude, manage your motivation, manage yourself by a disciplined manner. That is sadhana. Pahari Baba, in his homely language, said, Jana sadhana, tana siddhi. What does it mean? Sadhana is a back-breaking effort. How is a habit formed? And habit forms by willful, repetitive, rational behavior. You do it once, you do it twice, you do it thrice, it becomes easy on you. As a time comes, you see you are a slave of that habit. You don't have to make any effort. It automatically happens. What has happened? Your efforts have grown into a habit, and that force of habit have saturated your whole being, your personality, and you are now spontaneously behaving that way. Spontaneity and effortfulness. This effortfulness ultimately becomes spontaneous. Spontaneous means effortlessness. Jal sadhan tan siddhi. So in this section where we are now reading up to the 24th shloka, it started from the 16th. Sri Krishna says, I will teach you how to conduct your flow of life. Tat te karma prabhakshami. I am going to teach you perfectly, thoroughly, correctly how to control and manage your flow of life. If you follow this methodology, moksha se ashubhat, you will not be a victim of anything ashubha. You will be placed in that excellence and glory of your true original nature. Then we find he says another word, Jnanagni dagdha karmanam tam ahu panditam buddha. How? Tvakta, no. Jasya sarve samarambhya kama sankalpa varjita. A person who has, by continued, determined, devoted, dedicated, disciplined life, has converted his life into an endless worship of the divine. He has converted the concept of karma, work, into concept of worship, puja. Distinction is known to you. Whenever you bring the awareness of presence of God in it, your karma converts into puja. You know that very well. He says, a person who continues to perform his duties of life, but he does not desire, neither does he plan. Plan for fulfillment of those desires. Just here, a person whose the flow of life is kama sankalpa varjita, totally devoid of desire, expectation, and planning to achieve that goal. Sankalpa, varjita, totally devoid of. How is it possible? Jnana Agni. Here, the awareness of the presence of the soul, which is my true original nature, is compared to a blazing fire. And everything that you put in there burns into ashes. So this karma, which creates karma phala, and you have totally got rid of it, how you are poised in the excellence and majesty of your own soul. If you are that, the knowers of the self will call you knower of the Atman. Panda Bishakam Jnanam Jasyasti Sa Atma. Pandita. Panda means Atma. Atma Bishakam Jnanam Jasyasti Sa Pandita. They will call you a realized soul. He has said that. Now we are in the 20th shloka. We will pay attention to this shloka today and prepare ourselves for the next. Now, each and every word, mind you, is sadhana for me and lakshana for him. For me, it is what I have to achieve. For him, it is spontaneous because he has already achieved and been there. What does he say here? Let us be very careful. Tvakta. Tvakta means one which you have totally removed from your consciousness. Takta karma phala asangam. Phalasangam. Takta. You have totally removed yourself not from karma. You continue to do your duty, but expect or plan for nothing in return. How can it be done? Unmotivated activity is not possible. Not to be motivated by worldly motivation and positively being motivated by your true original nature. This is the secret, dear, which you have to read between the lines, listen from an Acharya. Karma phala sangam tvakta. Very simple. Get rid of, in totality, all the expectation of the results of your performance of doing your duty. It says, how? By being a karma yogi, totally established in the awareness of the presence of your Ishtadeva in your lifetime. My Ishtadeva, my Ishtadevi is always with me, whether I am a janitor or I am a world teacher, whatever my duty is, I do it thoroughly, correctly, perfectly, excellently, and I offer to my God. This is my worship of yours. Tvakta karma phala asanga. Tvakta karma phala asangam. He now tells you, how can you do that? I have told you beforehand that don't jump to that tree of Nirgun, Nirakar, Nirvikarpa, Brahma. Go by stages. Go through the help of your Ishtadeva, Ishtadevi. Nitya Tripta. The love of your beloved God is so deep. Love for anything else does not exist. Is it now understandable what is Nitya Tripta? Your capacity to love somebody. You are increasing the capacity to your fullest capability. And then you place it on your God. And you saturate yourself in such an extent, there's no space left for anything else. So the word Nitya Tripta, you are satiated, you are not disturbed by any desire, eternally. Nitya, eternally. How is it to be done and practiced? This is the secret. We have a faculty known as emotion. Love, sharing, caring, sympathy, affection, call it by any name. We know what is love is. And it's an emotional faculty. I pick up and choose an ideal of my life. Call him my Ishtadeva or my Ishtadevi. Ishta is one. According to my likes, I have a choice out of infinite. Either motherhood of the divine or the fatherhood of the divine. It's your choice. They are the same. There is no gender difference at that level. You place your capacity to love to him or her to such an extent, there is no space left for anything else. In totality, That is Nitya Tripta. You are always with him because he is Nitya. Your attachment is Nitya as long as you are alive, and there is no space for anything. Nirashraya. The word Nirashraya, Nitya Tripta have been placed one after the other. First was Tvakta Karma Phala Sangam. We have understood that. Now we understand what is to be Nitya Tripta. And he has attained it. It is for him, it is spontaneous, Lakshana. For me, it is sadhana. I have to cultivate this with a rock-solid determination and self-discipline. Nitya Tripta, what is Nirashraya? If you look at ourselves, we always hold on something for security. And ultimate security is this body-mind complex. And we learn to depend on it. He says, no. Your total capacity of absorption, total capacity of emotional involvement should be with your God to such an extent that even whatever happens here in your body-mind complex, you have left it to him. Let him take care of it. I am not bothered. I have found out my true source of platform, Ashraya, on which I exist. I exist on the awareness of the presence of the divine within me and outside me, all the time. So, dears, these are the signs and symptoms of a realized soul. Therefore, these are the sadhana that you have to perform in your life to reach that goal. And what is sadhana and what is siddhi? The effort quotient disappears. You start with great effort, you continue with that effort, and that effort creates a force of habit, and that force erodes all your other habits, and the only habit remains is to be one with God. Tvakta phala, taktva karma phala sangyam, nitya tripta nirashraya. Now the last, which is very difficult to understand and very difficult to perform, but the effort should always be there. Karmani abhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti sa. Sa, that person, it seems, karmani abhipravrittopi, he is doing work in his life. At Acharya, Vedacharya, he teaches you, he's working. I see he's so involved. Listen, when you study, Jagannathanji used to say, I'll tell you another incident, very touching. What is it? He says, look, after this class of ours, you should immediately go and revise so that it is fresh in your mind, the new ideas that has been given to you. And you start cultivating those ideas. And while reading and studying and revising, doubts will come into your mind. That's what he said. Doubts will assail you. Don't think that you will remember those doubts till tomorrow morning when we meet in this class. It will disappear. As soon as a doubt comes to you, come to me. Don't forget that doubt. We will erode it. We will eradicate it. Whether it's midnight, I don't bother. So, I took him by his word, and as stupid that I am, I took him by his word. At about 11:30 at night, winter night, when the whole world is asleep, I was studying, and a doubt came into my mind. Sridharananda Maharaj said, come to me even if it's midnight. It is not even midnight. Let me. I took my book in my arms and slowly, without waking up the roommate and others, I quietly walked down to his room. His door was closed. As soon as I stood in front of the door, I hear him saying, Shalil, walk in, I am waiting for you. You have a question, isn't it? It's a fact of life. And I pushed the door, it opened up, it was not locked. I went and I did pranam. What is your question? Don't disturb yourself. Tell me your question. I asked him, and with all great patience, he explained to me. It took about half an hour. And after that, I did pranams again. While coming back, I did not observe Swami Apurvanandaji, Arupana. No, it was never Satta Maharaj. Aparanandaji. I'm sorry, I get confused. Apurvananda is Aparananda. He was Aparananda, Satta Maharaj. He is a Mahant. He has watched me stealthily walking back towards my room from Jagadanandaji's room. And next morning, I had a verbal thrashing in the dinner table. Are you going to kill him just because he is available to you? Responsibility to look after the senior. So I know how to appreciate that. Whatever it may be, Jagadanandaji was waiting for me and invited me to come. Don't stand out in the cold, come in. I am waiting for you. You have a question? Karmani abhipravrittopi. What more deeper involvement than you can think of this? But he says, I know who am I, what am I. You may think of whatever you like. You may feel anxious. If this body falls on a drain, or if this body falls on a devalaya, makes no difference to me. I have made use of my body fully. Karmani abhipravrittopi. That you see he is involved. Naiva kinchit karoti sa. He is not involved. And Premanandaji's classic example, which is in our literature, with the younger Swamis, the Lila Prasanga used to be read, and they used to peel vegetables for Guru Maharaj's bone. And one day this section came in and he explains, look at me, I am peeling. And then he says, look at me, I am doing nothing. His fingers are working, he is peeling. But he says, I am doing nothing. He has the capacity to involve himself with this body. He has capacity to withdraw from this body consciousness. These are the signs and symptoms of a realized soul. So, dear, these are to be studied with this attitude that these are the signs and symptoms of a realized soul, the behavior pattern of a realized soul. For me, it has to be inculcated, it has to be cultivated by a devoted, dedicated, determined discipline till we reach that stage. How do we reach? The habit forms, habits erodes the past habits, and this habit takes hold place and you are one with God. This habit reaches you there. And that formation of habit is full of effort, sadhana, and it becomes effortless, that is siddhi. So let me read this shloka again and stop for the day. Tvakta karma phala sangam nitta tripta nirashaya karmani abhipravrittopi. Even it appears that he is deeply involved from your point of view, the way you see the activities of the body. He is not at all involved. He is far above. You have to cultivate this characteristic, this lakshana, so that it becomes a part and parcel of your being. And he continues, Nishashir jata chityatma, tvakta sarva parigraha, shariram kevalam kurvan, shariram kevalam karma, kurvan na apnauti killisha, na apnosi killisham. He doesn't get attached to the results of his activity. We'll take up this shloka next time. Thank you, dears. Thank you ever so much.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.